Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, welcome one, welcome all. I am Katie Patrick, joined by David Fiorazzo.
Yes. Hi. Good day. Hello. Greetings.
David Fiorazzo has been replaced
Midweek.
by a robot.
No, yeah. Hello. I like when they do the numbers.
What numbers?
When you call a number and you hear them repeating the number back.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, and you're like, yep, that's the number. Yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, well, just a quick reminder to you that you can catch Educated on the go by simply subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. And obviously, we want you to download the Freedom Project app because it's awesome, and you get notifications if you click yes. Just click yes. Well, the University of Michigan doubles down on the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
As they commit to spending nearly $80 million on diversity hires. Just a cool 80 mil for diversity, David.
So disappointing. So the NIH puts in $15.8 million to hire minoritized individuals. I'm not sure if I heard them called minoritized.
Yeah.
Is that prioritized?
But not.
Minoritized. So the U of M announced a new initiative to enhance inclusion and equity across the biomedical and health sciences community, which includes hiring 30 new professors. Oh boy, here we go. So University of Michigan and the NIH to spend nearly $80 million. There's the headline as part of DEI 2.0. So,
yep.
And it's not just U of M, but here's the big story because there's so much money involved in this particular deal. MPACT is designed to address persistent and significant underrepresentation of minoritized individuals and groups, according to the university record. And spokesman Rick Fitzgerald declined to answer a College Fix inquiry about how the program would respect academic freedom if it was only open to racial minorities. He said that the university had, quote, nothing further to add beyond the information in the university record story. So, Katie, we've heard some pushback thanks to people like Chris Rufo and what Governor DeSantis is doing and against DEI at the university level. It's going to be a long battle because it's so entrenched in academia.
And the effects of this are going to be felt on you out there in the public in due time.
Explain that.
Because they are wanting to hire these 30 professors who are maybe the most qualified, maybe not the most qualified,
right,
to teach the next generation, the up and coming. Specifically in this instance, we're talking about health. So the next, health sciences community, biomedical, the ones who may be digging around in your body to tell you what's wrong with it. Same thing is happening, though, with doctors already, So this isn't new, but it's just another example of what happens or what's going to happen if we can continue to prioritize the DEI versus the actual science. And we already know what is happening. It's just going to get worse. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, so qualifications aren't the top priority.
No, because
it's the DEI.
It's all about that. And what's interesting here is saying that the university faculty members Robert Sellers and Reshma Jagsi are going to spearhead the MPACT, right?
Okay.
Sellers was also the chief diversity officer and the vice provost for equity and inclusion.
Of course.
And he had left that position in 2021, but the university still lists him under those two titles. But, David, guess what happened when he left that position in 2021?
What happened?
His wife succeeded him.
Oh, that's convenient.
Even though she has her own name, they don't have the same married name. Because if you get a PhD, because I've heard about this, if you get a PhD, females, and then you get married, you keep your maiden name because of all the publications you've done or plan to do, and for some reason you choose instead to keep the maiden name. On a personal note, I've had family members who are all about that. But anyway, so you didn't notice it, but his wife succeeded him in that role.
Yep.
And but when they released the 2022 University News release about it, they didn't mention the relationship because she doesn't use his last name. And someone actually, a user, left a comment being like, "Hey, what's up?" And then the school closed the commenting section immediately. So you can tell it just makes you question qualifications over agendas, narratives.
The Young Americans for Freedom at the University of Michigan said that it doesn't support the idea that DEI is a moral imperative or the goal that U of M, a goal that they should strive for, especially not at the cost of academic integrity. And I agree. And here's a quote: "We are concerned that this program is a poor use of university funds that does not advance proper goals of a public research institution." Hello. And not only is it further evidence that the U of M, and we can parenthetically insert many universities across the country. So not only is it further evidence that U of M is would rather sacrifice competence at the altar of diversity. I love that line.
I was going to say
you're going
to jump on that one.
Competence at the altar of diversity. It is further evidence that U of M is investing in discrimination in favor of their preferred groups. And it's happening, Katie, across the country. We've done stories on it, but this is just because of the numbers and the money, the influence here, we had to hit this one today. Yeah,
it's just interesting how when they talk about like the groups and like, oh, if you want to go with race, black people have been discriminated against, which they have. But they are talking about groups when it's only the groups that they want. And then it's okay to discriminate against groups. Whereas like me and you would be like, think of them as an individual. Right. Treat everyone as an individual, not as all these groups. So if we were in charge of hiring faculty or whatever, we'd look at the individual and how the individual, their qualifications. Then again, we believe more in a meritocracy, and we're not allowed to do that on the altar of diversity because we don't bend the knee to that.
Yeah.
So
one thing really quick I see toward the end of the article, just this, I've got to mention this, that there's such a thing as the Faculty Institutional Recruitment for Sustainable Transformation Initiative.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. MPACT is part of the Faculty Institutional Recruitment for Sustainable Transformation. It's an initiative at the NIH, the National Institute of Health, which is designed to provide funds for to recruit diverse cohorts of early stage research faculty, and on and on and on. But yeah, I think that point that you made, the editor's note here at the very end, the article updated to clarify that Sellers is no longer the DEI chief, right? And that his wife succeeded him.
It's just nice.
And in my notes I put LOL, because isn't that convenient?
Well.
All right, well, still to come, one of ABC's stars on Shark Tank is set to launch a college course that analyzes how Bud Light completely collapsed and how other businesses can protect themselves. This will be interesting. That's coming up next.
So Shark Tank, you know the show, you've watched it or heard about it or seen it. They know how to reap reward, right? When they have a product and they know that people are willing to buy it. They know how to do it. And so Kevin O'Leary, he's the mostly bald dude. Yeah, there he is, mostly bald. He's known as Mr. Wonderful, and he's going to do just that. He announced plans to teach college students about the unprecedented boycott of Bud Light. Dun, dun, dun.
Uh-oh.
So let's just hear it from the shark's mouth.
Yeah, this is an extraordinary case, and one I'll be teaching in business schools across America this fall. In the history of beer, in the history from when it was marketed, because remember, you're dealing with a commodity. Beer is essentially the same. What differentiates it is brand.
Yeah.
So you spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year building up a brand, and then you have to ask yourself, on a campaign that really brings you into a discussion around gender identity, is that the right thing for my beer brand? Well, apparently not, because even if you spend $200 million a year, the biggest moves in the beer market were measured by 1 to 5% in a year. That's an extraordinary volatility. To lose 25% market share has never been achieved, and it's impossible to even dream it. So what have you learned? Social media, widely held view amongst my CEOs, is that if you get a bad social media story, it's going to go away in 24 to 48 hours. But that didn't happen here. No. We're still talking about this situation months later, and they continue to lose share. That's number one is an issue. Yeah. Number two, you've really got to understand who your constituency is.
Exactly.
What they did there was very damaging.
Yeah, I think most of us can see that. I don't know.
Know your audience.
So
interesting.
Bud Light sales are down 26.5%.
Ouch.
You know, I mean, Disney can afford that because their big box office movies are bombing. Yeah, the animated features are bombing, and they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Disney says, we'll just keep the agenda going.
Well,
but Bud Light, I don't know.
He's perfectly. I mean, he's coming at it from an economic standpoint.
Right.
He's talking about it being a commodity. Absolutely, it is. A beer is a beer is a beer. It's not anything that's unique, and you can replace it. It's like chips. Go down the chip aisle.
Yeah.
If your chip isn't there, you can find another one that's similar, not the same, but or soda or any. There's all these
ice
items.
Cream. Can you believe the choices? The
Why do
ice
you go down
cream
the ice
choices?
cream aisle a lot there?
That's just
David?
I can't. I'm indecessive.
Yeah, well, the point
that
that he's trying to make, and I guess what he'll teach to the college students, the business schools, is the effect, the power of marketing and what can happen. And the reason all of this is happening and that he is looking to, score some more money by teaching these college kids is because of Dylan Mulvaney. And if you don't know the Dylan Mulvaney story, you are lucky. That's number one, lucky. Dylan Mulvaney is a man. Dylan Mulvaney pretended and has been pretending for over a year now that he is a girl. And so he is been able to cash in on being a girl, and Bud Light, for some
bizarre,
unimaginable, unknown reason.
Wasn't it the person in charge of marketing or advertising?
Yes, it was a wokester who got in there. Yes.
A wokester.
Decided, hey, we should get Dylan Mulvaney because but it's he.
Put him on the
He is
can,
all
on the can.
over Instagram, and he can advertise our beer. And
what
so
could go wrong?
They sent him the Bud Light with his own mug on it, and he made a little video, and he sounded like a moron. I'm gonna say it. He was a moron. Oh, I got sent this. There's this thing called March Madness. I don't even know what sport that is. And then he was saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna drink this beer. Oh, it's
Did
so
he
nice."
say that?
Yes.
Oh, God. He probably has never had a beer. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I'll make you guys watch it because I've seen it 92 times. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
So you've got a major beer distributor, major corporation rewarding this idiocy. This is the United States of entertainment.
Right?
And this is what we come to.
But because we are in the United States,
boycott.
You can make money on this, and that's what Kevin O'Leary is going to do by teaching these classes. And like he said, when you heard him talking about social media, a widely held view amongst my CEOs is that if you get a bad social media story, it's going to go away 24 to 48 hours. But that didn't happen here. We're still talking about that situation months later. Yes, we are. It is August. We were talking about that in April when it happened. It's been months, and now he's going to talk about it all fall.
Good.
So yeah, it's quite fascinating. But already in late July, Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth reported that the company laid off about 350 corporate staffers in the wake of the boycott. So
keep it going.
It's going to keep going. It'll be interesting to see. Kevin's going to have a lot. You're like wondering what's this course going to be about. Well, it's evolving day to day, so he'll have a lot to teach these business students.
Keep boycotting, but whether it's Bud Light, Target, or any of these woke corporations that are going against truth, biology, science. obviously, the Bible when it comes to their ideology. Once you stop spending your dollars at a certain place because of that reason, unless they completely reverse course. And Katie, I don't know one that has done that said, well, we went the wrong direction, we're coming back, we made a mistake. I have not seen that once. If you have, send that to us here at Educated. Let us know. Has someone apologized in reverse course?
Target may be slightly doing that for
Not
next
even
year.
close.
We won't know. We won't know.
Because they had young children's stuff, trans stuff in their stores.
Correct.
This year.
But they announced for next. We'll see.
Yeah,
it
we'll
remains
see.
to be
Just
seen.
stop spending money there.
There
That's
you go.
my encouragement to you. You can get there, whatever you need elsewhere, but keep it. Don't just do it for a short season. I know that's hard because we have our favorite products and things like that. But I want to encourage you to just keep it up. That's the only way some of these corporations are going to learn the message or learn a lesson.
All right. Well,
Money talks.
And walks. It's been 84 years.
What?
It's been 3.5 years. If you watch Titanic, you'd understand. It's been 3.5 years since the first case of the COVID was recorded in the U.S., and yet nearly 100 universities are still requiring students to be vaccinated before they can step foot on the campus. We're going to break down the details after the break.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Bend the knee, get the jab, David. Bend the knee and get the jab. There are still nearly 100 universities across the country making college students bend the knee and get the jab.
Yeah, this is astounding, actually.
Yes, not outstanding. It is astounding.
Astounding.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Despite there being persistent concerns about the side effects and overall effectiveness of the vaccines and, the ethics of it all, these mandates are existing. And Harvard, Johns Hopkins, Rutgers universities, just to name a few, are
Look at
among
that.
about the 100, okay, it's 97, I won't exaggerate to say 100, 97 universities holding tight to the student COVID vaccine mandates for the fall. So this actually was released or reported by No College Mandates, which is a group critical of these requirements. Take a look. Look how many. California takes up the whole left column.
Well, Katie, can I ask
There's
you
5
again,
columns and they take up 20% of them.
What are the what started this whole thing? COVID-19?
19.
As in 2019?
The strain 19. Yeah.
2019. And here we are in 2023 with more stories than ever in history that we've had of young athletes dropping dead. Just a coincidence, nothing to see here, just suddenly dying. More stories of high school athletes, of even teenagers, and people getting the shot and then dying or having heart problems and other issues, other health issues. And here we are mandating these at college universities. I don't get it. Apparently there's not enough lawsuits
That's
from
what needs
these families that have lost a young family member. Usually they're healthy and fit. A lot of these that are dying.
Yeah, it
and
is.
It's really sad.
As you say, and new sports are happening, starting up. We're going to have even more.
There'll be more.
The fact when LeBron James' son, and I don't know if anything's come out since then. I didn't actually listen or pay attention to the story, but I read the headline of he collapsed and had suddenly
just mysteriously
in practice. Oops. When every headline, it's like they already have them pre-written because they're only allowed to say a certain way. They can't imply or question anything. It's just, cardiac arrest, move on. We don't know why. We just move on. But the organization that actually put this out, again, No College Mandates, actually maintains a database that lists more than 1,200 colleges and universities and whether or not they continue to require the shot. So this organization was formed specifically to see what's happening about requiring, different vaccines for you to actually go to college. And with COVID-19, this is a huge one because whether you are pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine, the truth is there's not enough information out there. We don't know what is in it in terms of like its effects on people's bodies.
Yes.
We don't know it. We rushed it out because it was a worldwide pandemic, and here we go. So when you talk about these universities, like Harvard, for example, will require all their students on campus to have primary vaccination for COVID-19, according to their website, adding that it's required to maintain the high levels of vaccination needed to protect our community.
And that's...
What does that mean?
Science. Let's talk about the science in air quotes when you're talking about this. First of all, you first were told to take the shot so you wouldn't catch COVID. Then it's like, okay, you'll still catch COVID, but it's to protect other people. Oh, okay, that still won't work, but you just have to get the shot. So they kept on changing. They kept on moving the goalpost or the end zone, but it's all about the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and we've got a video. Check this out.
Dr. Mandy Cohen, the director of the CDC, toured a vaccine clinic in Madison this afternoon with hopes of promoting a healthy school year ahead, especially with COVID-19 still a concern.
We have vaccines, we have tests, we have treatment. Don't forget a good old hand washing.
Dr. Cohen tells me that the state of Wisconsin is seeing lower vaccination rates across the board compared to other states. The COVID-19 booster, which is recommended by Dr. Cohen, is on the list for Shannon's kids.
We've been doing it just because we know that the science is telling the truth, and we want to make sure our kids are safe and protected, and that we're also protecting other people in our community.
Some kids who might have underlying lung disease or other medical conditions, it might be right to get the booster now. For other kids, it might be right to wait for the new booster. The new booster is a little more tailored to the kind of virus that we're seeing that is circulating right now.
So what's amazing about this, first of all, the virus that is circulating right now, I guess that's news to me, and we live here. But of course, that's Madison, Madtown, Wisconsin. Some people affectionately, Moscow East. But let's just talk about this. There were kids in that video wearing masks.
I don't know. I hope that was B-roll from a while ago, but we don't know. We don't know.
Well, the story came out within the last month, and the subject is nearly 100 colleges still mandate the COVID vaccine. And so this is the story, but that was a story on one particular college that happened to be Madison, University of Wisconsin, and their health centers.
Yeah, and one thing to note, specific university, Rutgers needs a shout out because they've been leading the charge on this. Back on March 25th, 2021, they were the first university to require COVID vaccines for fall enrollment, and now they're trying to lead the charge again by planning to disenroll non-compliant students. And this just happened last week. So Rutgers, disenroll if you don't bend the knee and take the jab.
So show me your papers.
No.
Take the jab.
Take the jab.
Proof. I want proof that you have this shot.
I got a hole right here. Here's my cardiac arrest. All right. Well, we've got
science.
We've got our latest Babylon Bee headlines. See, it sounds like we're doing Babylon Bee headlines.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to discuss them up next.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
All right, before we wrap up the show for the day, let's take a look at everyone's favorite satire site, the Babylon Bee.
Here are this week's top 5 Babylon Bee headlines.
We've picked our favorite headlines, and now it's time to decide which one will be named Queen of the Hive. Let's start with this one. Trump indicted for Hawaii wildfire. Next, disaster relief plane flies over Hawaii on way to Ukraine. Next, Biden's no comment praised as the most rational, coherent statement he's made as president. Next, Hawaii officials ask whoever stole ancient fire god tiki statue to please return it ASAP. And finally, country music industry confused by man actually from country making actual music. That's a good one too. Katie, I have my favorite. What would be yours? Do tell. Come on.
Okay, I'll go with Biden's comment being the most logical, coherent
His
thing
no comment
that he
comment?
has made as president. I mean, he said it enough. No comment. Like he's practiced it. He's well versed in it. It's the one line he can just bring home. He should get an Oscar for it.
Well, they sure have politicized the wildfires in Hawaii, but I really like the one about the disaster relief plane flying over Hawaii, because basically we have given Ukraine billions of dollars.
Yep.
And this is something that the American taxpayers have no say in. This is something that they're just doing, the Biden administration. Ukraine, I mean, I feel sorry for the people there on the ground, the people in Ukraine. A lot of them have left the country, but there's a lot of suffering there in Ukraine. I understand that, but this is not humanitarian. This money is going to the government, which is corrupt. It is a globalist government. Zelensky, he should win an Oscar, and he keeps asking for more money. He finds new ways, but this satire, disaster relief plane flies over Hawaii on way to Ukraine. There's sometimes satire has a little bit too much truth.
Oh, well, that's why Babylon Bee is so good.
Yeah.
If it would have added with Biden on board, I would have been like, there it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Look at that. Yep. Going over to help out Ukraine. Yep. It's definitely a political thing, and it's really sad what we're doing with American taxpayer money. We need that. I mean, aside from the Hawaii wildfire, we need the help here with the homeless. And look at our big cities with the unemployment, the homeless, and other issues that we have, the drugs, the fentanyl, the southern border, and we're sending billions of dollars. I know the people in Ukraine need it, but it's not getting to the people. Where have we seen that before? In our own country. Yeah, let's get these states more money, but the money doesn't get to the people who really need it.
That's right.
All right, I'm off my soapbox. That's going to wrap up our top headlines of the week. More satire next time, to be sure.
Always.
Always.
And now, if you are a fan of our show, we'd love it. Love it for you to like.
Love it.
We'd love for you to like and to comment and to share.
Follow.
And to follow, subscribe, all the buzzwords. Do them all, please. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.